Welcome to the While My Batteries Charge podcast. Join us as we talk about all things radio controlled. And now, your host,
Folks, this man, he is the king.
Mr. CCXRC himself, Tony CC.
Hey, what is going on, you guys? Welcome to another While My Batteries Charge podcast. We're going to do this one live and try to kill a few birds with one stone and talk about some things that are worth showing here on video, but also having in the podcast realm. So there's going to be a lot of just information and things we're going to be talking about for upcoming builds, but I thought that we'd talk a little bit about the micro scene of RCs because it seems to be kind of what's all the rage these days. And there's several reasons I think that's the case, from price point, starting in under $150 to get you started, get you driving one of these little guys. The SCX24s really seemed to take the market by storm when they came out. There's a couple other ones I had tried, and I was like, I got the ECX Barrage, and I didn't love it. Didn't like how it handled. But when I got one of the SCX24s, which took some convincing after the Barrage, I was hooked. And so now I have most of these. I don't have the yellow Jeep, but I do have two of the gray C10s. I was going to buy the yellow Jeep, but then I realized that, for what I was going to do, I wanted to have the smaller tires that come with the C10s, because the tires that come on the Deadbolt and the Jeep are just bigger, and I didn't really want that. I, in fact, want to get rid of the big tires on this Jeep eventually. So we'll be talking about some of the upgrade stuff. We'll be talking a little bit about monster trucks and where that all fits in with these. I've got one of them right here even that I've been building and need to get a new system into to make it go faster. Now they're getting them flying, and I just need to pony up and pay the entry fee and the cost of getting this thing going faster. So it's coming. In fact, we've actually got another chassis over here that I got from Garrett Binder that I want to try and modify to work with this as well. So I think we might be able to do it. We're going to have to take a look at it and see, but this is a really cool scale chassis that I'd love to be able to hook up into one of the trucks. So welcome everybody that's joining us right now. See, some people are jumping in here. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff we've got going, and I've got a lot of upgrades. I've been collecting these upgrades because I started doing an upgrade video on these, and then we started planning for moving, but I've been collecting just parts and pieces and all kinds. I've got a stack of them here. We'll go through and talk about some of the things that I'm looking at doing and different options, and you guys can weigh in as well with things as well. Addicted to RC is mentioning the Mofo RC chassis for the SCX24. I've actually got a screen set up over here to go over with you guys some of the different places that do have RC, and Mofo is one of them that is on here. So we will be talking about Mofo RC parts. In fact, I've got some with me in a bag right here, and I've actually got his monster truck chassis as well. So we'll be talking about some of the upgrades, because he's actually got a ton of cool upgrades, and one that I want to order is the transmission that they make, the really bulletproof one. So that's something that I want to get, but there's a lot. And I actually just got another mini up there, but that's a buggy, which is a Kyosho. And then Kyosho's got the crawlers as well. I actually didn't pull up their page, but they've got crawlers. I've got two of them already. So yeah, they're definitely something that people are interested in. I think that Josh and Matt doing that build off with the XCX24s kind of really showed people that you can really get into them. And I know a lot of you guys that follow on the channel here on YouTube and all that Many of you know about all the upgrades you can do to it, but for those of you that don't and aren't following the scene too closely yet, there's a lot that you can do to modify these. I mean, you could be driving around $1,000 C10 if you really wanted to. There's enough upgrades that you could put into this thing to add up costs that would probably get it close to $1,000 truck if you wanted to. I'm not saying do this. So yeah. So we'll be getting that buggy out. That's something separate. The micros that we're mainly going to talk about today, and some of it will cross over to the monster trucks, which I'll just kind of quickly mention those right now, and then we'll get into the crawler side of things, because there's definitely a big scene that's kind of swelling up, I think, for the monster truck ones as well. And I would love to see a ready to run one come out, whether or not it just runs the C10 body, but is built to do monster truck stuff, because you can get like USA 1 model kits and different things that literally will fit right on here if you want. Or I've got sitting on a chair right back there, I've got the Monster Jam RCs from Target. It was a 2-pack Megalodon and Gravedigger, and I'm just gonna take the bodies off them. It's $30. They're like semi-rigid plastic bodies. They're not hard bodies. Like, it'd be like this. It's still flexible, but it's much more plastic than Lexan, I would say. Just thicker would be what I would say. But very durable. And for $30, already stickered up and stuff, you really can't beat that. That's for 2. So $15 a body. You can't buy a clear body for that much. So it's definitely something that we can modify a, no-name monster truck into a Monster Jam one. So saying that, let's just quickly look over at some of the options that there are. And well, Mofo is actually one of them. He has a monster truck chassis that you can get. So he's got a whole bunch of different products you can get. And what got me over here originally were his flex blades, which I do have, and I plan to install onto one of mine. I'm going to see if I can just search the monster truck if it's not pulling up. He's got a ton of pages of stuff and parts. So here it is. So he sells the tires the AMT tires that we use for these currently, but he's also got bead locks and a chassis that is actually made to allow you to have a tilt mount body that works directly with those bodies I was talking about from Target. So, and then these are his bead locks. See, it tilts up, as you can see. And he's actually got 4-wheel steer on his. So that's his lifted monster truck right there, which is pretty cool. Pretty cool. All right. And there's different options that he has for this. He's got this where it's a whole chassis, but he also makes a lift kit that you can just use the stock chassis for and lift it for the monster truck wheels to fit under as well. So here's the lift kit if you want to take an Ugly Betty and just kind of lift it. And then the frame rails sit up there. So he's got several different options. This is the cheaper way. But we'll come back to him when we talk about the other parts of things that you can get into for crawling. So let me just flip on ECB 3D printing. He's doing some other 10th scale stuff as well. But he's actually now got an enduro version. And I forgot that Facebook is down, so some of this stuff may not load now that I think about it. But he just announced a enduro version of his chassis to work with theirs, and it also puts their servo on the axle. So that was pretty cool. So, where's that thing? Here is my body. So you can check this out here. Velcroed it on here. So that's the chassis for ECB. Now, the thing that I didn't do was I didn't use the deadbolt system for the right length links. So my shocks go the wrong way, but you should use the deadbolt with his chassis in order to have the right proportions for your shock setup with this. In fact, I got to put that link back in. I was working on it and I thought I heard my door. So yeah, there's that. So that is an option. And he also makes the wheels for it as well that hold the AMT tires as well. And they mount up there real nice. But we're also seeing Southwest Monster Shop just announced their Tiny Titan, $68, carbon fiber, and it looks fantastic. It sold out in, I think, minutes after they dropped it. So look at how cool that guy is right there. They even made it 3D on the cage by adding this 3D print part here to give it that little bump out. Just that little extra detail. So I saw Michael McKenzie had one of these and it was rocking. You can see they got the double shocks on there, looking super wicked. It just allowed them to scale everything out, get the links the right length and all that. So this is probably the option that I'll be going with. I just need to watch, and they've got their own wheels as well, as you can see here, that also fit the AMT tires, I believe, which is pretty cool. So that's it for the monster trucks now. For right now, I hope that Axial is able to come up with something here that will make it so that one will still be able to use these aftermarket things, because I don't want that to go away, but it'll just give more options. You know, I would pay upwards of $250 for one if it came brushless with a tiny brushless motor in it. And I mean, that's the main thing. If it was quick, had the scale look and all that, we can adapt bodies. People, J Concepts will probably license bodies if they can. I could see it being a little racing scene if they do this. It'd be really cool. So there we go. Andrew Ritchie says he's in here. He said that he's got a few things from Mofo. He's got the flex plates and the lift kit for the Betty already. So there you go. I have several of those things right here from him. His wheels and his monster truck chassis I got to get to building. And then these are the flex blades. So moving on over, let's talk about some of the upgrades. So there's several different brands that are doing it. I'd say that the SCX24 is the most popular by far right now. You do have the Enduro. It just doesn't have the aftermarket part support that the SCX24 has. And you also have the Kyosho, which doesn't have the aftermarket part support. And it also is just hard to get parts for in general, most Kyosho things. So that, I think, makes the Axial something that's very attractive. Yeah, let's talk about parts. I've got several that I've been collecting. Monster trucks is one thing I'm going to be working on. I'm still trying to figure out the motor combo for that. I'll be looking at what Michael McKenzie did, because he had his going pretty good. But I did just upgrade my son's one of these. It's not over here in the studio. It's over in the house, because we just went to Reaction RC Hobbies yesterday, and they were selling a version of the metal wheels that were branded Reaction RC Hobbies. Their little bag had it, stamped up just like these, and it had their stickers and stuff in it. But again, it's very similar to, and in fact, it's almost exactly what I bought them was almost exactly like these Treel ones right here. So same price and all, but it didn't have Treel stamped in it. It's just a nice clean ring around it, which I actually liked. So you guys can't see the Treel stamping in here because reflections of lights and all that. So yeah. RC Master says get the Titan. That's what I'm looking for. Yeah, 2FMRC has a lot of microcrawler stuff, mods, all crazy stuff going on. And there's another one, a full throttle RC, I believe it is, that does drag cars, but he also was doing the micros. He was the first one that got me into the micro monster trucks and looking into doing it. I bought his 3D print for chassis, but I didn't have a 3D printer, so we didn't go that route. But looking at the parts here, kind of what I'll be looking at. I've got one of these trucks already very upgraded. My SCX24 Jeep. I upgraded it with the brass wheel weights in all four, front and rear, and then I've got the front diff weight on it as well, and then I've got the hot racing shocks on it. The biggest upgrade this guy needs right now is for a new steering servo, because the steering servo cannot move these heavy brass weighted wheels at this point. So you got to think about these as you're upgrading them. Each upgrade could potentially require another upgrade. So there's two ways to look at that. If you want to force yourself to say you need something, or your wife say, hey, look, I can't drive it anymore, I need to get this, then you may want to start with certain things like wheel weights that will force you to then buy a new servo, which will require a new servo mount in order to hold that servo. And I think you guys can see where I'm going with this. So again, you can spend a lot of money on these if you really want to. This one, stock tires still. I bought RC 4-wheel drive tires and a bunch of other things. But yeah, we'll look at those in a second. I got some RC 4-wheel drive tires to go on these Treel wheels that I have. And I also have the Treel Overdrive worm gear that you put in the front here to help it pull a little more, to help a little bit with hill climbing and things like that. So these can definitely start getting expensive quickly. I've already spent a lot in just the vehicles. I've got this one doesn't have any links upgraded to it. I think I put the links for this onto the monster truck. And links for a set of four is $30, or for the full set, it's $30 for links, metal links, like this one has the hot racing links. I put the stickers or the logoing on the inside, so I didn't have to see it from the side. And then this one also got the hot racing steering links up front. And then it needed a new motor. We just put a stock motor in it. But the motor that I'm going to be running in whichever of these I choose to be my rig is going to get some nice upgrades. Whether it's the Jeep, I kind of like the Jeep, but it could be the C10 I really like. But my son has a C10 that's his favorite, so I probably won't. I'll probably use this for another monster truck, which is why I bought it. Was I would need transmission and axles and all that parts for a monster truck build. So let's talk about what I got, and then we'll be doing an upgrade on this stuff for it. It won't be this week for a couple reasons. I have another monster truck race this weekend, and I'm going to have to change motors in all my crawlers because I run the stock Clodbuster motors in my Clodbusters. Never felt like I needed to upgrade them. Well, they require at this race I'm going to for them to be 27 turn axial stickered, or the J Concepts speed motors or whatever, but they're 27 turn. They got to say it on the can. So I can't roll in with my stock what would be 27 turn Clodbusters. So yeah, yeah, I will be having to do a lot of work this week on getting my trucks ready for the monster truck race. If I want to run them, I may only have time to get one retro ready, unfortunately. But they also have a stage 1 class that runs RC 4-wheel drive 45 turns. And I've got 4 clodbusters back there still. I got rid of several of them before moving. But so I could run both stage 1 and stage 2 if I want, but I'll have to buy and order parts to do it. I tried calling around to get 27 turns and they didn't have them. So what I got for this, getting back to this, where we'll be going with this in the future, probably in the next couple of weeks, is putting this Furtech system and a Furtech Lizard ESC in. So it's a 1400 kV 2204 motor, comes with the plate and pinion gear, that kind of stuff to mount it up to the SCX24. And then it has the brushless or brushed ESC here. These are purchased separately. It's about $100 to do this. So not all of our trucks are getting this because it's expensive, but what it does is it totally changes the control that you have of it at the lower speeds and power and all that. It's going to be amazing. So that's the biggest, best upgrade I could do right now. Tires, I have 2 options, and I got those suggestions from all of you guys. So I have the advanced X2S3 compound. These are the Interco Super Swampers here. I heard one of these was hard to get. The other is the Rock Crusher, and these are the advanced X3 compound. These are the Rock Crusher tires. So those are the 2 options I have. I have all 4 of them. I don't know where the others are. Oh, here. So those will go on the 2 sets of Trio that I have. One of them here. And then I have one other different type of Trio, black and silver rim that looks like it's going to just require a bajillion bolts all the way around the outside. And those look like they would be aesthetic. Maybe not. It just looks like a bajillion screws in this one. So that's a bummer. I probably won't get that one again. The ones that I just did through Reaction Hobbies were super easy. My son and I put them together very quickly. So yeah, I'm gonna have to respond to that text in a minute. The other thing that I mentioned before was the big thing is the servos on these cannot really push in turn when you get stuck. So definitely going to need to do that. I see somebody says that they'd love to see Traxxas make a micro crawler. That's true. They aren't into the micro crawler scene yet. And it seems like it pulls in a lot of money. They always seem to be sold out. In fact, I posted recently that they were back in stock because I get so many people asking about them. And they do run out of stock all the time. So, yeah. But in order to put the new servo on, you want to get these Emacs steering servo mounts by Hot Racing, which also sell out very quickly, but they don't have the back lip on them. And most of the servos are longer than the stock servo. And so this becomes a key component because it does also mount your wishbone, upper part of your suspension in there. So it's kind of something you need to have set up right. But this works great. You can cut the plastic ones, but for $15, if you can get your hands on it, this is the way to go. And I know that Horizon Hobby had these in stock earlier today when I looked, and so that I could put a link up for you guys if people were interested, because it's one of those things that I had trouble finding, and then I bought a couple of them to have on hand for my upgrades because I'm running this high-tech 5065 Digital Mighty in whichever one I decide. It's probably going to be the Jeep. Is going to be the one that I'm going to upgrade. So I think it's going to be this. But I do have the Emacs. You see a lot of people running these as well. And it's a Metal Gear servo. You can get bang for the buck. This thing is where it's at. I'll get to some of the comments here in a minute. There looks like a bunch in here. Servo upgrade. Yes, I was just saying that. Bubbles RC Shed. The Emacs ones are great. I have the Reefs 99 Micro in the monster truck, and it has a ton of power in here. So that's something. Weight. These things tend to tip over. You get, your keyboard, like somebody was saying, you get it just enough it wants to roll over. If you add flex blades, you could even increase that to a degree. Depending on what you crawl on, flex blades may or may not be something you want to run because it does make it flex and pull off more as it's going. And so you might, if you're doing things where you're sidewalling a lot, that extra flex may make it want to roll. But if you're doing a lot of things where you just need your wheels to drop and make contact, the flex blades are really great. And so I have them for mine in here by Mofo RC. And we'll look at some of the upgrades he has. He's got a ton of them that I'm going to be ordering, I think, his transmission for this. And he's actually making a lot of his parts now in aluminum. I have the 3D printed ones. But again, I ordered mine months ago thinking I was going to get working on stuff, not knowing we were going to be moving, and that all of this stuff that I've been accumulating would have to wait. I got 2 of the brass diff covers, 9, what are these, 9 grams? Yeah, they're both 9 gram. For extra weight down low again. I have the internal shocks. I was getting these for the monster truck. So internal spring hot racing shocks. They make all kinds. The ones on here are not external, or they're not internal. They're external spring hot racing, just metal bodied, more for the look. I feel like they still kind of perform a lot like the stock ones. I put some grease in there trying to make it slow some of it down so it wasn't so springy, but yeah. Andrew Ritchie says the Reef 99 is awesome. It is. It's expensive though. So it comes down to how much you're wanting to drop into your micro. If you're wanting to have the best of the best and you don't care, money's no option, you want to go with the best servo, that 99 micro is amazing. So I did just get extra screws because I tend to lose them. They're very small. I bought the stainless stool. That would be painful. The stainless steel set, and it's mainly just for replacement if I lose stuff. But I did get some metal axles. I'm guessing these came like eBay special, but they sent me 2 rears, so that was fun. So I have 2 metal rear axles. And I bought them because you couldn't get the hot racing ones anywhere. And then I finally found the hot racing. So I just got the front for hot racing. I don't know what I'll do with these 2 rears. I might just pair one of them with the hot racing. We'll see. But a lot of upgrades. The steering links, that's if you're going to do a good servo, you definitely want to get metal steering links like these hot racing ones. That's a must. The stock plastic ones just have too much slop. So I have several sets of these for being able to put on all of our trucks. And some of them already have them. Like the monster truck has it. And the Deadbolt already has it. Because I thought I'd put a better servo in, but apparently I hadn't yet. So those are kind of what I'm looking at. Tires, wheels, and the metal ones do add weight. You may not need the brass weights if you're already doing aluminum wheels. It's still, even though it's not as heavy as the brass, it's still heavier than the stock. So it all depends. Try it first and see. But yeah, it's definitely interesting. So, but definitely going to get these things, working on these soon. We're going to figure out what we're going to do in the house here, whether it's going to be in our basement over at the house or if we're going to do up in the studio, but we're going to make it another or add to our current SCX24 course, and have a little playground here at the house with them. We just went up to Reaction RC Hobbies. Like I said, they've got a nice little spot to run them. And they actually would do pretty cool on their bigger course if there weren't people around doing competition stuff, which is where my son really wanted to run it. So we'll have to go back when they're not competing. But it was an awesome time competing with them. And so I ran the competition with my Vanquish, and it did awesome. But we are looking for some of the smaller stuff to do. However, the scene here in Michigan does provide quite a few options for indoor RCing in the winter, which is a bonus. So they know that they've got the cold coming for many months of the year. But there's indoor tracks, indoor crawling. It's going to be pretty awesome. So, all right, I'm going to end the audio podcast there. So, I'm going to pause it. I'm going to get to some of these comments here. What's going on, Canada RC? I never know how they work on the audio podcast because I have to pause it more and not keep talking when I have to stop to look at the comments. I just kind of feel like sometimes that may or may not translate well for people listening on a podcast. So I tried to just run through it hard there, guys, for a minute, but we're going to get through it. And so the video side of this, where people can see what we're doing, talk through some more of the stuff. Yes. Where was it? Somebody just said easy to spend $500. 2FMRC again. Yes, that's awesome. Awesome stuff. Nopey117 says, I think an SMT24 from Axial is a logical next step for the company after the SCX24 blow up. I agree. Now, I think that there's a couple things that are interesting to me. I mean, luckily the aftermarket has taken it over. But for the SMT24s, you would want it to have more speed out of the box. I'm shocked that they didn't come up with their own brushless system by Axial as an upgrade that you can get for these, or they had Spectrum or have Spectrum do it or something, you know, as a, like, just here's a kit if you want to do it. They did that with their low C. Well, shoot, what are those called? The cool little truggy and the little buggy that they just came out with, the 18 scales. But it would be cool if they just came out with something where people that didn't know and who couldn't, you know, because there's a lot of research involved with getting all the right stuff. And then you buy a new motor, but then you need a motor plate for it. So then you got to find somebody that 3D prints the motor plate. Then you try to put the pinion on. It doesn't fit. It's a bigger size stub coming out of the motor, and so it won't fit. And, you know, the shaft is a little bigger, and it's just like, you know, you just keep running into these headaches. That's what I'm running into with the motor system for the SMT that I was building. There's nothing that's like, hey, if you buy this, it works. So it'd be nice if there was the companies, even if it costs more, you just knew that it worked when you bought it. Would be awesome. Big Papa Paul's radio control adventures. As long as my STX24 can drive a more keyboard, I'm a happy man. Only mod so far, brass diff cases on mine. Totally gets why everybody loves them. Yeah. Bubba's RC Shed says, I have an Associated Enduro, but that's just a rebranded Banggood. Yep. And wow, that little thing works awesome out of the box. Yeah, he likes out of the box because it can be endless money pits. That is true. And I almost got the Enduro, but I have so many already of these and so many parts for them. I didn't want to change it up. Plus, I knew I was going to probably put it in the monster truck, which was set up for, well, until he just released the Enduro version, it was set up for the SCX 24. Andrew says, I'm going to like the lizard. He has it in his Betty. Okay. Yeah, the new brushless revolver looks pretty cool. Earlier, what Emacs model is this? I was asked. It's the ES08MA2. Jesse Schultz, Vanquish makes a parts tray. Just saying. Is that because I dropped my screws? Is that what you're saying? I do have a cow RC mat. And I usually have it down, but still. It's easy to lose those little screws. Trying to catch up to the bottom. All right, here we are. Hey, Tony, what do you think of the SCX24 Toyota build I'm going to do? I missed it. I must have just went right past it. Yeah, a Toyota looking SCX24 would look really cool. There's got to be a model. That's the nice thing about the SCX24 too. I see a lot of people taking the 1/24th scale models and building the model body and then putting it on, kind of like Matt did with his, but he really hacked his up into a really cool, unique new truck. But yeah, there's tons of cool stuff you can do with these if you want to do hard bodies or whatever. So you could totally find a Toyota body that'd look great on it. I'm still trying to get my hands on a USA 1. Funny enough, the Hobbytown in Richmond got one more in out of the blue the day after I left Virginia. I was bummed. I'd have stopped on my way out of town. RC Patina guy. Yeah, man, I got to have the magnets. Hey, I need to talk to you about potential body paint job, paying to get you to do something cool for me. I need something very patinaed for my Vanquish VS410 Pro. I've got a special body that I have reserved for it, but it has to look just right for it, and I can't do it. I've been waiting. I've got it in the box over there, and I really want to get it done right. So yeah, I'll hit you up about it. I wish I was at Proline by the Fire the past weekend. It looked amazing. Looked like a good time. I was going to go 2 years ago before it got canceled. I was planning all these trips. I had so many frequent flyer miles before COVID from just work travel and all that. And I was just going to hit every big RC event I could and just, use up miles to get there. And it all kind of got slammed. So, yeah, I'll try to DM you, man. Partly why I was on here was because Facebook and all that went down. So I was like, okay, I had to do a few post things, whatever. I can't get on there. Can't do that work. I needed to update my podcast, but I thought I had so many show and tell pieces. I thought I'd do it live at the same time or recorded, either way. So funny enough, though, I actually just did a recorded version of it because not even this wouldn't work. StreamYard was down. But when I went to go close everything down, StreamYard was up, and I'm like, well, let's just do it again. So may or may not use the audio version of this one that matches with the one online. I had already done a full recorded one that was like 40 minutes long or something. I don't remember how long it was, but I'd done a previous version and just decided to do it over. So, yeah, made me more productive today. Kagan saying Green Fog RC says you can barely hear me. Don't know what my settings are. Oh, I might have set something on the mic. Oh, crud. Or on the audio thing. Check 1, 2. I'll have to check and see. It's very possible that it was sitting on the. I just set down the deadbolt, and it may have been sitting on the. I got to turn my TV on. I've got a monitor up here that shows all the input levels. If I can get it right. I mean, it shows it program mic and everything's hitting at the right level. So, not sure what's happening. Oh, it's on your end. Okay, cool. But yeah, my mom's about to come over. We just towed her trailer. She had a really huge fifth wheel, really nice one, 40 some foot, but nobody had a big enough truck to pull it back to Michigan or store it well or whatever. So she traded it in and she got another trailer, brand new one, that I towed up. And so I was down there, and I was also, while I was down there, I scheduled one of my work shoots I had to do. So I also did a work shoot. But while I was waiting for that shoot to happen, I ran to Hobbytown one day and got one of these in Newport News. And another day before the shoot, I was in Virginia Beach. That's where I got the Kyosho Mini Z buggy, which I think I'm going to have room in here maybe to do a little something. I'm going to have to get rid of these big chairs. My boys were hoping I would keep because they love them. They're just big, lazy boys, but they just take up too much room. And then there's a ping pong table that was left here as well. So the chairs and the ping pong table and this couch are pretty much the only things still left that was in here, other than the refrigerator from when we got the room. But I just keep taking stuff out when I can, and it's a mess. I'll tell you what. What's going on? Toby's RC doing well, man. House coming along. There's actually painters out there. That's also why I try to bust and do this early during lunch, before all the stuff fires up for them painting and the different sprayers and everything. So house is getting painted. It's kind of warm up here right now because we had to take the air conditioners out for the painting, and they're just window AC units. So, yeah, that's been different. Not having the central AC has been different. Bubbles RC said, "Why is there not any good RC snowmobile companies?" I don't know. I'm guessing the North American and Canadian markets just start buying them up enough. It would be pretty awesome to have one, though. But you put snow paddles on, and you're pretty good as well. That's something else I have to get is snow paddles for everything. So yeah, overall things are good. I wanted to show you guys while we're here and while we're still chatting. So I didn't mention all the RC crawler stuff, because for whatever reason I didn't. FMS definitely has some new stuff. This Atlas has seemed pretty capable. Every time I've seen somebody running it, and they just look super cool. I know Lyle has one over at RC Athletes, but they had them at the Gauntlet, and they were running a couple of these, and they just look super cool. So that was one. Again, the Enduro, they've got the Trail Runner and then the Enduro Sendero, which look good. Have more of a typical diff style in the axles versus the worm gear. And then, so Mofo RC, I wanted to just show you guys some of his products, because there's several things. In fact, I had $200, I think, worth of stuff in my cart here. FMS fire hose looks nice. What's that? That's weird, Riff Raffs. All right, so going to his store home here. So he has a SCX24 6x6 conversion kit that he can do. That has my attention. I know that he's got these really big batteries as well, 2S and 3S, but he's got up the 2S up to 600 milliamp hour, which is awesome. Different chassis kits. Let's see here. How's it? These are by Newest. Okay. Well, one of the things that he has is, where is the transmission? I guess I could go over here. He's got a Bulletproof Transmission Kit. Oh, it's out of stock. Crap, I waited too long. So you can get it with a brass or aluminum skid plate too. For another $20, get a brass skid plate under it. But these right here give you a metal bulletproof transmission kit in it. And it just looks absolutely incredible. So it's $55, but you get a really, really solid piece. So that was one thing I was looking at. He makes these press-on metal pinion gears as well. But he also has these torque beast motors and different things, hardened steel spur gears, all kinds of stuff to just really beef these trucks up. So if you're looking for stuff, definitely come check out what he's got. He's got this Surpass 2500 kV sensorless motor. But definitely some good products here. This one, where's his? I'm going to price it by most expensive, because he also sells some of it as fully built. So this 354, this is one of them I was looking at, is 6x6 ready to run, and you can actually have it do rear wheel steering for another $45. So you can have the back wheels turn. But look at the flex he gets out of this thing. Just looks super cool to me. I would totally drive that. Have you guys ordered anything from Mofo RC yet? I know that this rock bouncer I saw over on Exocaged had the mini bouncer, and I think that's where I first saw the flex blades too. He stretched it out and stuff like that. It's super cool. But it's all just kind of bolt together. And here's another 6x6 Badger. Just interesting stuff to me. But there was also, so yeah, he's got the, if you want to do your own 6x6 conversion, he sells the parts for that. But he's been doing now the flex blades and those things, and I didn't get him in aluminum, but he has them in aluminum now. So there's a new V4 kit. There's that monster truck I was talking about. Aluminum axle housings for a pair, front and rear, $40. That's not too bad. I paid $48 for just the fronts from Hot Racing. Just gonna add those to my cart. I'll come back to that later. So anyway, what do you guys think? So stock tires on the Hobby Plus were terrific. Hobby Plus had some good stuff, Riff Raffs. Will he ship to the UK? I don't know about that, Sean. That's a good question. I haven't really spoken to him. He had a live stream going last week that I pushed everybody to after my live stream, I think, was done, or after another one. I started watching his. And then I shared the link because he was going around and showing all the parts that he had. And he was just pulling out drawers. And I was like, holy cow, he's got a ton of stuff I didn't even know he had. Oh, the Fire Horse, the red Jeep looking thing from FMS with adjustable drag brake on the transmitter. I did not see anything about the Fire Horse yet. Days ago. Oh, interesting. Well, it's got the angry eyed Jeep. People are going to love and hate that. I love it. There, I looked up the Vanquish parts tray. I think I just Googled myself away from the page I was on. Oh, well, I don't know. Oh, here it is. All right, so that's in my cart. Anyway, yeah, so if you hadn't heard of Mofo RC, there you go. Hey, Stickies, what's going on, man? We're going to be wrapping up here soon. Think he ships worldwide, Crones and Crawlers. Okay. See you, Dragon Adventure. Yeah, Rock Hobby. Yeah, I'm going to have to spend a little more time on here. I'll probably go through it this way to find the stuff I was looking for. He's got takeoffs as well if people were looking for things. He's also got he calls it the Valkyrie kit, where it's the different type of back end for if you don't want to have the bed on it. I just like what he's doing for these micros. It's pretty cool. Suspension adjustments and all that. So I'm looking for it here. Aluminum shock plates for different mounting options. He did come out with an aluminum mini bouncer as well. But I think the main thing that I was looking for, he had aluminum. Here's $24 for link kits. Or here, the flex blades in aluminum. So I bought the plastic ones. I'm going to have to go back and order them in aluminum, because the other ones were 3D printed. And so basically where your shock was, you screw in here and then you put your shock onto one of these new holes, and then it'll actually pivot on this and give it extra length as it flexes. So pretty cool. Anyway, that's that for that. I gave him a lot of eyeball time there, but I was wanting to go through it because I was looking for that, and it's too bad it sold out. It was in there still 2 weeks ago, but my trip made me put a pause on a bunch of stuff. Do Metal Gears make the SCX24 louder, or is my gear mesh out of adjustment? They definitely make it louder. I don't know how much louder. Metal Gears in general sound like things are going wrong, in my opinion. It makes it tough. See you, Green Frog. Which one is it that you got, Andrew, with the rear steer? Or the Wendigos are you talking about? All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and take off. I hear some commotion outside. I think there may be some questions from the painters. So I got to go check on that. And thanks for tuning in. And we'll be coming back with more stuff here in the next couple days. No real conspiracies, although the new 2-in-1 system from Spectrum definitely is looking interesting. Got to get that into a truck. I'm actually looking at maybe getting my first Element RC to put it into, since I don't really have something to put it into. And I know that 2 people already put them into Broncos, which would have been the next thing that I would have wanted to buy. So I don't know what I'll put it into, because I've already got a Fusion in my SCX-10 a Firma censored in my Vanquish, a Firma censored in my Gen 8, and those are my crawlers. I could put them, I guess, into my kids' Axial Race. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But I might get that new Ecto or something. Let me, in the comments, let me know if you think I should get the Ecto or not, or a different Element. Not the Night Runner, but I like it. Just not for me. Anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in. As always, have fun RCing. Catch you next time.